We are back on the Just Baseball program, on the Just Baseball show to talk about division races. We've got five divisions that are kind of up in the air. We're not going to talk about the AL Central. Congratulations to the Tigers on August 4th. But we're going to talk about the other five divisions and what's going on at the top, followed by a brief check in on the award races that are getting tight. Those lines are brought to us by BetMGM. Who's the show brought to you by? Also them, right?
The sportsbook born in Vegas. Remember, folks, download BetMGM, whether that be on iOS or Android, and use promo code JUSTBASEBALL. You thinking about any of these division odds, any awards? Well, if you use code JUSTBASEBALL, you'll get a first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first wager loses. So again, what does that mean? Use the promo code JUSTBASEBALL, place a wager of at least $10. And if your first pick loses on BetMGM, you'll get whatever you put on it up to 1,500 back in bonus bets if that wager loses. But remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply. 50 games left of the MLB season. 50.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Wow. No, because I will tell you, being in it every day, it feels like there are 100 to go and there's five to go at any moment. I couldn't tell you that we were, barreling towards Tuesday, August 5th right now. But that's apparently where we are. And I have to believe you. Jeff Nelson, who I'll work with on Marlins radio sometimes, I think does great work, is also on the Yankee telecast for Yes. He said there are 2 days. There's Mondays and there's Sundays. Any night game is a Monday and any day game is a Sunday. And I'm totally with him.
That makes sense. For me, at the same time, it feels like the season is almost over, and it also feels like it just started. It's like this weird feeling where I kind of share the same thing as you, where it feels like we have a lot left, but it also feels like we have none left.
I
But
know.
it is to quantify it at 50 games left, that feels like it's almost done, but at the same time, we still have 2 months to go.
It's pretty home stretchy. I will say
Yes.
50 games feels pretty darn home stretchy, and it's exciting to see all these races heating up, and all of a sudden, everybody's looking at the wild card. I feel like this is the time where you can start to look at the wild card standings every day.
Absolutely. You ready to talk races?
Ready in a moment. Before that, I want to shout out the immediate love that we got on the Just Baseball Day at Lone Depot Park. That'll be on Saturday, August 23rd. I think it's Saturday, August 23rd against the Toronto Blue Jays. It's that Saturday game, 4:10 first pitch. It was so cool to see that initial reaction on social media. And get your tickets as soon as possible, because not only does that guarantee you a spot in the Just Baseball section where you can sit with a couple of members of the Just Baseball staff and also, get merch. Every ticket comes with Just Baseball merch. First 50 purchasers get a Marlins hat as well, complimentary of the team. But the earlier you buy, the higher likelihood you are selected for 4 on-field batting practice passes, 4 ballpark tours, and 8 pregame booth visits. So, we have so many of these added pieces here. Everybody gets something far beyond what their ticket is initially, with a chance for a hell of a lot more. So I would lock in your spot as soon as you possibly can. That link is in our episode description, and I am so excited to see all you guys out here at Lone Depot Park in Miami for Blue Jays Marlins at the end of August.
I'll be there. Arm's going to be there. You're going to be there. A bunch of Just Baseball staff is going to be there as well. And you probably thought I get tickets, merch, a Marlins hat, and the potential to be in the stadium tours, the pregame TV, radio booth visits, on-field batting practice. You also get an homage gift card,
Yeah.
which would be great. Some of the best baseball merch out there.
And
And we're going to
Homage is
be
giving us a couple of Marlins bundles, too. I would assume some teal would be in those bundles.
absolute no-brainer. Go get your tickets if you live in the Miami area or if you'll be in Florida at all. We'd love to have you again, August 23rd, Blue Jays versus Marlins. It's going to be a blast, and you can find the link to get those tickets in the episode description. Remember, don't just buy them right on any ticket marketplace. Get them through the link so you can get all of these different giveaways. Make sure you're in the same section. Again, link is in the episode description.
Let's jump into the divisional races now, and let's start with 2 of the best teams in all of baseball. We're actually going to go NL Central first. And you say, what do you mean? Why aren't you working geographically east to west? Nope, we're talking about the 67-44 Milwaukee Brewers, who have won 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10, and the Chicago Cubs, who are 2 games back of them at 65-46. Those are the 2 best records in the National League. This is a heavyweight fight atop this division. Really, what I want to do is kind of pose the 2 teams to you, and you tell me in your quick synopsis, the path to a division title for each of them.
Okay.
So go.
So go
Brewers,
right now,
Cubs.
Brewers versus Cubs. So the Brewers are playing better baseball than the Cubs right now.
Yeah.
I think even the biggest Cubs fans would say that as well, right? If you look at the standings right now, the Brewers are 2 games up. If we look at run differential, it's basically the same. The Cubs have a plus 115, the Brewers are at plus 119. And when two teams are so close, I think looking at the strength of schedule is important. The Chicago Cubs, of their remaining opponents, they have an average winning percentage of just 482. Out of 30 teams, that is the third easiest of all 30 teams. Now, the Brewers on the other side have the seventh hardest schedule remaining at 510. That's the average winning percentage of teams they're about to face. So the Brewers are about to face a schedule of mostly above 500 teams, while the Cubs are going to face a lot of teams that are below 500, which makes me start to lean towards the Cubs. The Brewers also are playing their best baseball right now. Are the Cubs going to start playing their best baseball here coming up soon? So I think the Cubs are going to take a late rally. I agree with the market making the Cubs still the favorite in this division. I think Shota's pitching better. Matthew Boyd has been excellent. Cade Horton is really taking the lead here. And getting in Mike Soroka, I think, is going to really help. As long as this Cubs bullpen can maintain what they have done over the season so far, that lineup can still carry them. I'm going to go with the Cubs, but it's mostly based on the schedule in front of them. Like I said, if the Brewers had a really easy schedule, I'd probably go with them because these are two of the best teams, not only in the National League, but just in all of Major League Baseball.
So I hear you on that argument. My counter argument to the Cubs argument would be the Brewers have a competitive advantage on the hill every single night. And that just changed over the last couple of days. Jacob Mizorowski on the injured list with a tibia bruise, right? It's a bruised tibia. I assume it really, really hurts. Tibia contusion, yeah. So like a deep bruise on that. But they recall Logan Henderson, who was throwing out of his mind through his first 5 major league starts. So it's not like they skip too much of a beat. They certainly skip a beat, but it's not like you're skipping 4 going from Mizorowski to Logan Henderson. I just look at how they match up on the hill every single night with Freddie Peralta. Quintana's throwing to a 3.5. Woodruff has been pitching out of his mind. Henderson 5 starts at a 1.8. And Priester, I'm excited to see what he does on Monday. We're recording before this, but he has been throwing out of his mind as well. For me, that rotation is just objectively better than what the Cubs are running out.
I'm not going to refute that because I freaking love the Milwaukee Brewers. And I would not be surprised to see them win the division. The only, again, counterpoint that I will give, you mentioned Mizorowski going on the IL. Jackson Chorio on the IL as well.
That's a tough blow.
Not going to help. And at the deadline, who added more? Right? The Cubs bring in Willie Castro to this offense. They bring in Mike Soroka. The Brewers didn't really bring in anybody. So I think a late surge due to the fact that the schedule is easier, some of the Brewers' best players are going on the IL. I think the Cubs will narrowly edge them out. But again, I ain't saying you're wrong. This is not a hill I want to die on. This is going to be an incredible race for the rest of the season.
Wait, do you know how severe the hamstring train was for Chorio?
Not exactly. I just know he hit the IL. Again, I've always been bad with trying to gauge injuries, especially early. Maybe you have a better idea.
Pat Murphy said month plus. I saw that was reported, which
Not ideal.
is a real blow. I knew he hit the IL with a hamstring strain, but those vary from, oh, you got the minimum 10 days if it's a slight tweak to, oh, you might be out a month and a half. So I'm hoping it's not a month and a half, but it sounds like it could be a month plus. Which
with that,
sucks.
Are you still sticking with the Brewers?
No, I think it's a toss up. I was just presenting the counter argument. I think that hot baseball stems from starting pitching. So I will side with the team with the better starting pitching every night, and that's Milwaukee. So, yeah, I'm sticking with the Brewers. I don't feel great about it, but to your point, we've got the 2 best teams in the National League and 2 of the best in baseball.
Let's go.
NL West. Let's talk about the Dodger-Padre rivalry heating up right now, and baseball is so damn good when the Dodgers and the Padres are slugging it out right now. San Francisco is at an even 500 at 56 and 56. They're 9 back. But the Dodgers are at 65 and 47, and the San Diego Padres are at 62 and 53 back in the division. They've won 7 of their last 10. The stories about Xander Bogaerts' jaw being on the floor, seeing Mason Miller walk in, was like he was so much bigger than I was anticipating him to be. That's the kind of thing that makes me think the Padres have a real shot at this. They really did put together a super pen. And I know we were talking about the Yankees putting together an amazing bullpen that crumbled immediately. San Diego looked pretty damn dominant this weekend against St. Louis.
They were talking about it in the Discord, especially after we recorded Monday's show, that Peter, you got to stop glazing the Padres so hard. I'm gonna continue to do so. I think they have an outside shot of winning this division. Now, the odds right now on BetMGM are implying that they don't. Right? They make the Dodgers over minus 1,000 favorites, which basically means there's like a 95% chance, close to 90%, that the Dodgers are going to win this division. And right now, it does seem like Diamondbacks are certainly not going to catch them. And the Giants lately, I mean, we talk about the Red Sox and what they've done since the Devers trade. The Giants have gone the complete opposite direction. So I'm not putting them in that bucket either. It really is Dodgers versus Padres. I just can't get over how good this Padres bullpen is.
Yeah.
And Michael King is supposed to come back earlier than expected. He should be back here in the next week. He's finishing up, I think, his third rehab outing where he looked great as well. So that's another boost to the rotation. Dylan Cease, like we know, Dylan Cease, when he gets hot, can be one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. The problem with Dylan Cease and why he's not consistently in the top 10 or even the top 15 is because when he's cold, he's in the mid fours when it comes to ERA. So that start against the Cardinals was very, very reassuring for us Padres believers. Darvish has looked good as well. Nick Pivetta has been solid. So their rotation went from kind of questionable to pretty damn good. And all they need is 4 to 5 innings before that bullpen comes in. When you have Laureano, when you have Ryan O'Hearn now in this lineup with Freddie Fermin, I mean, you could say the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. I think the Padres are the second best team in baseball. I really do. I think they are that good. And when I look at strength of schedule, Dodgers in dead last, which means they have the easiest schedule remaining. You know who's second to last? San Diego Padres, 30th and 29th. So it's going to be a race to the end. You'd probably assume both teams play at a similar level the rest of the way. And because the Dodgers have a 3-game lead right now, I will give it to them. But what I will say is I think the plus 700 that they're offering you right now on BetMGM, I think they're leaving too much meat on the bone.
It would seem like it, and I don't have, any particular leans on that front. But San Diego, for me, you use the word solid when it came to Pivetta, and that's what I'm just begging for from people. And as soon as King comes off the IL, that's what he's going to be. At worst, he's going to be solid. The big X factor for me is Nestor Cortez right now, because King just threw his first rehab start, and he struggled. He struggled in his first rehab, so it'll probably be 2 more or so.
Oh, so I was wrong about that. He's a little bit farther off than I thought.
He's a little bit further off, but I mean, not too much. He just started rehab outings.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're probably looking at 2-3 weeks at this point, which is totally fine. You get him back for the home stretch in the month of September. The word solid, if it correlates to what Nestor Cortez does for the final 2 months of the season, San Diego's in a really good spot to win this division.
They sent down Randy Vasquez, which is interesting because he's given them good innings this year, but they must.
But have they been good innings? For me, they've been terrifying.
Well, the results have been good, but watching with our eyes, I couldn't agree with you
more. Dude, I mean, we are eggshells, hot coals, whatever you're walking on. That's the Randy Vasquez experience right now. So I will take the idea of Nestor Cortez possibly being solid over Randy Vasquez being a Wallenda brother.
Yeah, I'll side with you there. Another thing about the Dodgers, this is not the perfect team everybody thought they would be. And by everybody, I mean also us. I was looking back at our win total projections from the beginning of the year when Arm and I did it, and both of us took, I think, the Dodgers over 103.5 wins. That's a swing and a miss for the both of us. And it's in large part because Mookie Betts has simply not been good this year. And I'm not even talking about per his expectations, he's fallen below. He's fallen below average hitters in Major League Baseball this season. The Dodgers rotation also with Ohtani, exiting the mound a few starts ago, that certainly doesn't help. Now, Yamamoto is still a dog. They still have guys in the rotation, but they didn't really do a lot at the deadline either while the Padres went all in. The Padres can catch this team.
Yeah.
Because again, when you build a bullpen like that and you fill in your holes offensively, while the Dodgers didn't really do so, you'd probably still say, well, the Dodgers just have to be the best team, and maybe you're right, but I'm not sold on it. I think the Padres could go toe to toe with this team, and considering their the strength of schedule is basically the same. I think the Padres from here on out are going to play better baseball. I'm flipping it on its head. Give me the Padres to win the National League West.
Wow. And come back from this 3 game deficit that it stands at right now entering play on August 4th. For me, the Dodgers, it wasn't a flashy way to cover up holes, but they did cover up 2 holes. I thought they needed an extra bench bat, and they got that in Alex Call. And then I thought they needed an extra arm, and they got that in Brock Stewart as well. By the way, Alexis Diaz has been like, okay. So
Okay.
I look at the Dodgers and I say, okay, you had minimal flaws, but they were there, and you did some patchwork. It wasn't as sexy a patchwork as getting Mason Miller and giving up the number 3 prospect in baseball or a top 10 prospect in baseball. For me, it was more cost effective patchwork without giving up any of your top 15, 20 prospects.
No, yeah, I understand why they didn't make a lot of moves.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a lot of holes, right? The Padres had more holes objectively. They had a
Yeah.
hole in left field. They had a hole at
But they filled
DH.
every single one in a loud way.
100%. I mean, if you think about it, go through the Dodgers rotation right now. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell. It's a very good trio. But if you have Michael King, Dylan Cease, and Yu Darvish pitching at, the best of their abilities, you'd still take the Dodgers, but the Padres can perform like all three of those arms. I'll take the Padres bullpen. And with Mookie Betts' struggles, the Padres offense is right there. And again, it's going to take a little extra push to end up winning this division because they are 3 back. But I'm drinking the Padres Kool-Aid. I think they are as good as the Dodgers, and I think they're going to win the World Series.
I'll tell you to pump the brakes a little bit, but I'm not far off of where you're at there. Let's go to the National League East. All 3 divisions are tight in the National League right now, and this for me is a true heavyweight fight. And this is a half game separating the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. Both sides are 5-5 in their last 10. Philly is 63-48. New York is 63-49. So same exact win total. The Mets have one more loss than the Philadelphia Phillies to this point. I will tell you, after the deadline, I thought they plugged the 2 holes that they needed. They needed center field help. Harrison Bader, Ara made a great point on the Monday show. He's going to handle the short side of the platoon with Marsh in center, and he might just end up taking over bulk reps in center field for Marsh because he's better than Marsh this year. And Yohan Duran is their postseason eligible closer. You get Jose Alvarado back for the home stretch to try and lock up the division. He's not eligible for postseason play. So all of a sudden, that back end of the bullpen becomes Duran, Alvarado, Kerkering, and Strom. You've seen the way Christopher Sanchez has thrown the baseball. Wheeler, I don't need any additional explanation. This team for me is near flawless, and I feel like you'll see that over the final 2 months. They're going to pull away and win this division. I think not handedly, but I think it might be more than 4 games.
The odds agree with you. BetMGM gives them about a 60% chance of winning the division. Those implied odds would be around minus 150. And the Mets, they're in the 38% range. And I understand why the market is there. I think you laid out all the reasons why the Phillies are so excellent. The Mets are also a fantastic baseball team. What they did at the deadline, bringing in Tyler Rogers, bringing in Ryan Helsley, bringing in Gregory Soto to that bullpen, and in a time where their starting pitching is starting to falter a little bit, guaranteeing those innings at the end of the game are huge because, of course, also you have Edwin Diaz, you have Reed Garrett, you have plenty of other bullpen arms. So they have really solidified one of the best bullpens in baseball to hedge some of those starting pitching concerns. And I think when both of us look at each team, neither of us are concerned about the Mets' recent offensive woes,
No.
right? But I think the only concern across any of the teams would be the Mets starting rotation. And because one team has a little bit of a concern, and the Mets have a really tough schedule in front of them, 6th hardest strength of schedule remaining, they only play 2 teams with a record below 500 the rest of the season. The Nationals for 6 and the Braves for 6. What do those 2 teams have in common? Divisional games. that the Nationals are playing horrific baseball. The Mets should win 5 of those 6 games. But the Braves have had the Mets number historically. So even though the Braves are not playing good baseball and they seem just completely out of it, you know they're going to want to spoil the Mets' time. Now, of course, the Braves are still going to play the Phillies, and the Mets and the Phillies will play each other. But if I just have slight concerns about one team and that team has a much harder strength of schedule remaining, considering the Phillies rank 18th, the average winning percentage of their opponents moving forward is just 497. I'm going to give it to the Phillies. They have the half game lead. They have the much easier strength of schedule. And again, we go back to the starting pitching argument. Zach Wheeler, I mean, he's as good as anybody alive. And
Yep.
so is Christopher Sanchez. And you have Ranger Suarez as well. I think the Phillies take it. But again, the Mets, we talk about strength of schedule. They can beat anybody on any given day. So again, that could be a mute point. And I think the Mets are still one of the best teams in baseball, but the Phillies are just an inch better. I feel like they'll win the division by like a game and a half.
I'm 95% sure it's moot point instead of mute point, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to Google that right now.
Let's just pretend I got it correctly.
No doubt. And you absolutely, Peter, said moot point. That's no doubt what you said. And we're moving on.
Perfect.
Good job, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. My gut says Philly. They also both see the fighting fish for 6 more.
Hell
So,
yeah, they do.
home and home with
but
both
so
those guys remaining.
That's just 6 auto losses for each. We're still at the same point.
Right. So the Marlins winning the division is still absolutely in the cards, and
Absolutely
it's time to get aboard the fish fam.
Hell yeah.
So we're going to move to the 2 American League battles in a moment. But before that, I do want to tell you about our friends at Ethos Life Insurance. This was as crazy of a weekend as I've ever had working in my entire life. Over 101,000 people at the ballpark in Miami just swept the Yankees. 13-12 win on Friday in a game that took 3 hours and 43 minutes. Felt like I emptied the tank. Saturday, it was okay. Went home. I was like, all right, I'm fine. But yesterday, when I got home on Sunday, I was like, I emptied the tank here. And I'm just thinking, if it all ended for me today, that's okay. But I gotta wait. I gotta make sure my family's protected, right? And that's why I trust my friends at Ethos Life Insurance. Okay, life insurance is more affordable than you think. With Ethos, you can get a free quote and customize a rate that fits your budget. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies as low as $2 a day, billed monthly. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Ethos has a 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 2,400 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/justbaseball. That's ethos, ethos.com/justbaseball. Quick break. All right, let's talk about the American League here, and we're going to start in the American League West. And there were 2 teams that positioned themselves very effectively atop the AL West, and this might be the sexiest divisional matchup we've got. I'm going to include Texas, who's 4.5 back as we enter play on Monday. Houston is 62-50, but they've dropped 3 in a row. They've lost 8 of 10. 2.5 back of them, the Seattle Mariners, who are at 60-53, and Texas is 3 games over 500 at 58-55. Is it fair to include Texas, yes or no, Peter Apple?
Absolutely, it's fair to include Texas. Now, over this past weekend, the Mariners did take 3 or 4 from Texas. And it really did feel like the Mariners were kind of showing the Rangers who's boss here and who's the better team. And I do think the Mariners are the better team. But that doesn't disclude Texas because we still know this offense has it in them to get red hot at any given time. And when you factor in their pitching, the addition of Merrill Kelly, they should absolutely be in this conversation. Now, the betting odds, they're not taking them completely out of the fight. They're actually in line with Fangraphs projections. And if you look at Fangraphs projections, basically they are saying that the Astros are way overvalued. Because if you look at the betting market, they're making the Astros about a 65% chance of winning this division, with the Mariners at around 25 to 30%, and the Rangers at about 5 to 7%. When Fangraphs has it 48% Astros, 41% Mariners, and about 10% Texas Rangers. And if you're wondering why do those not add up to 100, I'm not really sure, actually. I got to go do some math on that. Why, how that's possible on Fangraphs. But that is the answer on Fangraphs. You got 48%, 41%, and 10%. So, we'll see what happens there. At least the betting odds, they are out of 100, but there's hold, whatever.
Wait,
Regardless,
48 plus 41 plus 10?
yeah, 48 plus 41 plus 10. If you go to Fangraphs right now,
Yeah, that's 100.
48 plus
Oh,
41,
that's 80. That's 48 plus 40. That's 99.
that's
Are you accounting
99.
for decimals or no?
Oh, true. So it would be 100%.
Yeah, you're good.
I just did all that math and for no reason. I just disrespected Fangraphs for absolutely no reason.
Proud of you, brother.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. So all I could say is the betting odds for the Astros are overvalued. That's what they are. But at the same time, the Astros are inevitable. And at the same time, the Astros are going to get back a lot of their players. But one question that I still have about Houston, what is going on with Yordan Alvarez? Are we going to see him at all this season?
It sounds like yes.
It
I
sounds like yes, but it sounded like we were going to get him back at around this time about a month and a half ago. And the thing is, with Kyle Tucker's shin, that took way longer than expected. And so was this. So I keep putting him in my projections for them for the rest of the season, but I have no idea if I actually should.
So Brian McTaggart, who is a beat writer for the Astros, he said Alvarez is in West Palm and is, quote, increasing his swings and feeling better, according to the manager Joe Espada. The new timetable is sometime in mid-August for this. Like, it's like construction of a new restaurant or something, or a new apartment building. Mid-August I'll take is the very end of August, beginning of September. But if we get him back for the final month of the season, then all of a sudden this Astro lineup has a couple more teeth there than they do right now.
Christian Javier, Luis Garcia, Spencer Arrighetti is eventually going to come back. This team is just going to get healthier and healthier and healthier. Unfortunately, Isaac Paredes is not one of those players who's going to get healthier. He is now
Yep.
out for the year with that hamstring. But you bring in Carlos Correa to kind of hedge those concerns there. It's tough because when you look at the strength of schedule, I want to include Texas. I really want to make a good case for the Texas Rangers. It would not surprise me if they won this division, but they have the fourth hardest schedule remaining.
Wow.
3 against the Brewers, 3 against the Blue Jays, 3 against the Phillies, 3 against the Mets, 6 against the Astros, 3 against the Yankees. Like even their quote unquote easy matchups, A's in division, play them tough. Angels in division, play them tough. 6 against the D-backs, where the D-backs can kind of beat anybody on any given day while also losing to anybody on any given
They're
day.
one of the friskiest bad teams we've had in quite some time.
100%. And then you get the Twins, who the Rangers should beat them, but you never know. And then when you look at the strength of schedule remaining for the Astros, they rank 23rd, 489 win percentage combined. And then the Seattle, even easier, 26th, 483 win percentage. Like they get the Rockies, the White Sox, the A's, the Angels, the Orioles, the Braves, and even some of their tougher matchups, like they get the Guardians, right? So they'll also have 3 against the Astros. So for me, this one's really tough. I have a bet currently on the Mariners to win the division at 3-1. And the odds are much closer than that now, which is good. But at the same time, like the Astros are just inevitable. It's really hard for me to get away with them, especially when they have the lead right now. And I also think about it, well, is now the time to jump off the Astros? Then haven't they already been playing really bad baseball lately? They will get out of this funk that they're in. And as long as they play pretty well, because I think the Mariners are going to play pretty well, I think the Rangers are going to play pretty well. I think they're all going to play at a similar rate for the rest of the season, which means I think the Astros are going to end up winning it. It's going to be close, but it's hard for me to go away from Houston, even though Mariners had Naylor, Mariners had Gino Suarez. That offense is going to rake, and Bryce Miller will come back. But the Astros are inevitable.
The pitching reinforcements kind of push it over the top for me in Houston's way. Luis Garcia being due back in days is the most interesting wrinkle for me. He made 6 starts in 2023, but this year, as he's been ramping up from his rehab, He's made what, 4 rehab starts, 5 rehab appearances. One came out of the bullpen weirdly with high A Fayetteville. But last time out, 2 2/3, 3 runs on August 1st. He could very well be gearing up for today. They're TBD today. Houston is. He threw 40. He threw 49 pitches. I wonder if they see Luis Garcia and just say, you know what, you're ready to go. Give us 50 pitches in a Major League Baseball game, because they do need that fifth spot in the rotation badly right now. Once the pitching gets firmly solid, firmly right, firmly solid kind of feels like you're doubling down on something that doesn't need to be doubled down on. Once it feels correct, I feel like the Astros can take off a little bit.
Here's how the Mariners win the division, because I want to include Texas, but considering how hard the strength of schedule is left for them, and the fact is that I'm just kind of hoping for this offense to get red hot.
Yeah.
Even though I love the addition of Merrill Kelly, and in his first start with Texas, he looked awesome. They're just a little bit far behind for me right now. So the way the Mariners win it is, while the Astros are waiting for these players to return, like Javier, like Garcia, like Arrighetti, like Yordan Alvarez, this bad stretch continues in the meantime, and they continue to play poorly. So when we say Javier's coming back, how's his first start going to look? Do they win that game or do they lose that game? Luis Garcia as well. Like, does it take them a second to get going? But in the meantime, the Astros are losing those games because it's taking them a little bit to get going, right? And then maybe Jordan's timetable is actually closer to the playoffs rather than September. That's the way that the Mariners claw back into this. They keep playing at the level that they are. They have an easy schedule ahead, so they take care of these bad opponents. That's how they win the division. And I think that's possible,
Yeah.
right? I think that this is a razor thin margin. There's something about Houston, and even Mariners fans probably know it.
They do know it. So we shall see how all this plays out, man. I'm looking at Bryce Miller's game logs. Yeah, he did. He was awesome in his last rehab. Do you know what Bryce Miller did in his last rehab?
I do not.
August 1st in AAA, 4 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 6 Ks, 52 pitches, 42 for strikes.
So he's coming back soon.
That's how the Mariners win the division, by sporting the best rotation in baseball, and you've got Naylor and Gino in the lineup now. So that's how they win the division. But I'm with you. There is a sense of inevitability with the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
We'll go to the last division. We got to talk about the American League East, and this thing all of a sudden is really, really catching fire. Toronto, they are 3 games clear, but Boston has won 5 in a row. They are 8-2 in their last 10. And oh, by the way, the Yankees have slipped a game and a half back of the Boston Red Sox. So you got Toronto at 65-48. You've got Boston at 62-51, 3 back of them. And you've got New York at 60-52, 4.5 back of the division leading Toronto Blue Jays. Is this a 3-horse race, Yankee fan?
I actually think the third horse might win it.
I understand why you're saying that, but please elaborate for the people that might not.
I will. I think the Yankees are going to finish third. And maybe that's my pessimistic Yankee brain talking, because you say Yankee fan, like, I hate this team. No, I don't actually hate this team, but Yankee fans right now know what I'm talking about. Like, this rotation, Fried is not the same guy when he was pitching to a 1.00 ERA. He's still great, but he's not that same guy. Neither is Rodon. Luis Heel in his return, not great. So I still have questions about Will Warren, Cam Schlittler. Cam Schlittler.
Schlittler was very good, I thought.
Yeah. No, he looks good, but I'm just like, all right, is this who we're riding for the rest of the year? Like, all right.
Why not? He throws 99 with a 92-mile-an-hour slider.
He looks like a good young pitcher. I'm just saying, if you want to win the division relying on 2 rookies at the back end and a guy in his second year, again, I hope it happens. I think the bullpen looks great. But without Aaron Judge in the lineup, and I don't know how long that's going to take for him to come back, it's hard for me to put the Yankees in first or even second in this division. So for me, it boils down to the Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. And I guess it's just a feeling of mine that I don't love the Jays rotation. like Scherzer and Lauer, if they keep pitching at this level, like amazing. Bassett, Brios, and Gosman, they're older pitchers getting into the end of the year. Do they pitch closer to a 3 ERA or to a 4? I think it's going to be closer to a 4. Now, I really like the offense, right? And I think the Blue Jays are likely going to finish second in this division, but I think the Red Sox are clicking on all cylinders right now. And I really go back to the fact that the starters that have stepped up for Boston. We know how good Garrett Crochet is. He's the best pitcher in this division. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. So every fifth day, you have a better chance to win than most teams.
Yeah.
Lucas Giolito has been pitching just as good as Garrett Crochet over his last 6 starts. We posted it
Yeah.
on Twitter. I'm sure Peyton, who does an amazing job editing these YouTube videos, he's going to plaster it on the front for everybody to see. And Brian Bayo has done the same. So if you have those 3, I feel really, really good about that. And the bullpen, you add Steven Matz, who is going to help, and Chapman, Whitlock, Weissert. I'm probably forgetting arms just off the top of my head. Justin Wilson has been awesome. It's been a really good pen. And
How
if
about
they could just
Matz and Hicks too? I mean, Hicks kind of stinks, but
Hicks.
Matz,
Yeah, and that's why I was talking about Steven
yeah,
Matz helping this bullpen and the rotation if they need a spot starter too. And I liked how they kept the offense intact. And who knows what you get with Dustin May. And I think Walker Buehler will improve. Maybe I'm biased, but I think he's going to improve. Sue me. And I
yeah,
look at the offense, Roman Anthony just becoming a star. I mean, the future is now in Boston. He has arrived.
yeah,
He has arrived. He's got a 161 WRC plus since July 1st. Cedon Rafaela has just become a phenomenal all-around player, lightning rod in center field defensively, wreaks havoc on the base paths, and is an above-average hitter. And it's that conversation. It's like when you have an elite defender at a premium position, all we need you to do is to be average, to be a great player in our game. He's above average now, right? Carlos Narvaez has been one of the most underrated catchers in Major League Baseball.
yeah,
Duran is still swinging it well. Bregman is back and healthy. This feels like a team that is catching lightning in a bottle to finish the season. And when we
yeah,
look at the strength of schedule, Toronto has the hardest schedule of them all, while Boston is around middle of the pack and the Yankees have the easiest strength of schedule. But again, it's not a big gap between. They're all kind of somewhere in the middle. Yankees
yeah.
being the easiest, Blue Jays being the hardest. But this is going to be my take that the Red Sox do end up winning this division. I think it's all coming together at the right time. I think the
Wow.
Blue Jays have been playing their best baseball, and they'll continue to play good baseball, but not at the level that they were. And
Yeah.
with Aaron Judge's status up in the air, with my questions about their starting rotation for the rest of the year, I'm going with Boston.
Okay, so I just talked about how I thought the Yankees did a really good job of shoring up their deficiencies. They created a monster bullpen and they totally retooled their bench. They got 4 bench quality bats. They also got a third baseman and Ryan McMahon at the deadline. So I like the idea of the Yankees bouncing back, but that was an interesting look of a Yankee team for the last 2 days. After that 13-12 loss on Friday, they looked lifeless on Saturday and Sunday, which was awesome. And you know what? Fighting Fish are going to pounce on a lifeless team, no matter how large the payroll is for the other side. Uh, the point that you were making about Crochet and Giolito over his last, 7 starts since July 10th. 6-1 record, a 2.03 ERA, same mark as Crochet. The whip's actually lower. Crochet's whip is at 1.13. Giolito's is at 0.95. Giolito's been awesome. I will give the starting pitching advantage still to New York because you have Fried and Rodon going. Also, Boone calls him Roto. That's like, I don't know if I love that name because Roto is no shorter than Rodon. Like,
I like the N at the end of Rodon. Like it sounds like a powerful last name. We don't need Roto.
Roto, yeah, I think I'm okay on Roto. But
Roto is too cute for Rodon. Like
yeah, he's a
Rodon.
he's a big hoss,
Yeah.
big boy.
I like the N at the end.
I this is going to be a fun race to monitor because, like, I would argue that on paper, both Boston and the Yankees are flat out better than the Blue Jays through the home stretch.
I think
But
the
the Blue Jays have
Yankees
this power of friendship thing going on.
I think the Yankees on paper are the best team.
Yes.
Especially if they get Judge back. But Judge, it's up in the air. And I watch these games. I mean, the Yankees are playing like shit. So am I just going to expect that they turn it around? Not really.
No.
Blue Jays are playing great baseball. The Red Sox are playing awesome baseball. Why would I pick the team that's playing terrible baseball?
Right.
It's just that simple. And, you say in the rotation, you like a little bit better with Fried and Rodon. I think there's a large chance Giolito and Crochet outperform the both of them. And then we start getting into a bunch of rookies and second year guys for the Yankees. And Luis Heel, again, the second year guy is returning from injury. And you saw the way that he looked in Miami. Were you were you happy with that? I mean, he's
I
walking the
mean, no, I
world.
wouldn't. I wouldn't be if I were you. But like that's kind of who Heel is.
I
He's usually
know.
more around the strike zone than that. But he walked 5 hitters per night. Like he led the American League in walks issued last year.
So are we going to rely on a guy returning from injury who already has major command questions?
Probably not. I
Probably
wouldn't.
not.
Yeah,
What
that
about
wouldn't
these
be a smart move.
young pitchers who are reaching their innings limit for the year?
You're making good points, Peter.
I just, and again, I hope I'm wrong. Hope the Yankees stomp all over these teams. I hope they destroy
I
them.
hope they
They
don't.
won't. They won't. I just don't think they will.
I hope they don't. Okay. Before we wrap, give us a quick look at some of the awards races that are tight because there are some that are signed, sealed, and delivered already. But I'd be curious to know how the races are heating up.
Yeah, let's look at the AL Rookie of the Year first, just because it is a foregone conclusion at this point based on the odds. And I was like, is Nick Kurtz really supposed to be a minus 6,000 favorite to win this? Roman Anthony has been picking up. Of course, you have Carlos Narvaez. It's not a bad rookie class. Of course, you got Jacob Wilson, who's injured, but should Nick Kurtz really be that big of a favorite? Yeah,
Yes.
just point blank period. He's hitting over 300. He's got a 177 WRC plus, which is one of the best in all of baseball, regardless of if you're a rookie or not. He's got a WAR over 3. He's got 23 jacks. I mean, it is basically a foregone conclusion at this point. The
AL Player of the
American,
Month.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The American League MVP is interesting
Yeah.
because the odds are still holding strong for Judge as the favorite, but the market and I don't know when he's going to come back. So I think that's where, if you're good at judging injuries, no pun intended with the last name Aaron Judge, and you think he's going to be out longer than Cal Raleigh, you should be running to bet MGM to bet him now. 6.3 WAR, 42 jacks, 163 WRC plus. We've gone over Cal Raleigh's case plenty of times, but the thing is, like, Aaron Judge, still almost a win higher, 37 jacks, 342 batting average, 207 WRC plus. So basically it comes down to this. Is Aaron Judge going to return in enough time to win this award? Because if he does, he's going to win it.
Yep.
Now, if it's a prolonged absence, Cal Raleigh's going to win it. And that's what the market is telling us right now. And the market really is saying they think Judge is going to return with enough time to win it. That's what the market is telling me. And again, I can't judge that
Right.
because I don't know when Judge is coming back.
It seemed this weekend like I already saw Judge hitting on field and running and everything, and he was putting on batting practice displays. It seemed like it's going to be quicker than I think everybody initially anticipated. It could happen by the end of this week. It could happen early next week. So if he's only missing 10 to 15 days, then I understand.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like, yeah, it does seem like people were optimistic that it would be a short stay, and they got to figure out what to do to make sure Judge is DHing. But Judge could DH the rest of the way.
There's also an element to that where just because he's back doesn't mean he's back to being Aaron Judge.
Uh, even if he's 70% of Aaron Judge, that's still a 900 OPS player.
I know, but not with Cal Raleigh chasing him if we're talking about winning the American League MVP. I mean,
So
Cal
the
Raleigh's
question
playing
is,
at
how
100%
much?
of Cal Raleigh.
Right. The question is, how many lengths is he ahead of him as we come into the home stretch?
So again, if it's 70% and he misses another week, Cal Raleigh can catch him. Now, if he misses 2 weeks and then he comes back at 90%, I don't know if Cal Raleigh catches him.
Right.
So again, it's really tough to talk about the American League MVP when we just don't truly know the health,
Yeah.
right? You say he might be coming back soon. That doesn't mean he's going to come back fully healthy. Probably means that he just wants to help his team by any means necessary in order to try and win this division, right? He could come back and still not be feeling it, but tell the trainers, you know what, get me just back out there. Even if I can't throw, I'll play DH. And now that hurts the Yankees right?
Yep.
Because they have a revolving door of DHs, and he's one of the best defenders on the team on a team that's not very good defensively. So that also hurts.
Yep.
So again, a part of me wants to go with Raleigh here because if he finishes out the season healthy, and let's say Judge does have the lead in WAR when it all comes down to it, has the lead in WRC plus, but Cal has played every single game and Judge has missed 20 games this year. And let's say the Mariners win the division and the Yankees don't, which I think is actually kind of likely, makes you think that Cal Raleigh might win it in that scenario, which I think is a likely scenario. I'm leaning Cal on this one.
Interesting. Yeah, it's just tough because it's such injury laden timeline that there's no way you can, pick and try and forecast like, oh, how bad is the flexor strain?
Yeah.
So,
National League MVP seems like a foregone conclusion at this point, which is funny because Pete Armstrong has a 5.6 FWAR and Otani is at 4.8. But the odds are telling us it's Otani's award by a lot, right? Current odds, you're going to find Otani at around minus 700 ish.
yeah.
And Pete Armstrong, you're going to find it around plus, what is it, 650. So again, it's not over yet, but I think we have to answer, is Otani going to pitch for the rest of the year? And I think he's
It
going
seems
to.
like
Yeah,
yes.
it seems like he is. So if he does, and there's no more injuries and both keep playing at their current levels, when you add in the pitching war for Otani, he might get the edge there. And because he's pitching, the voters are going to go with him. And especially if the Brewers win the division. Like if the Brewers win the division, PCA has no shot. Zero.
Yeah.
If the
No, I
Cubs
mean,
do win the division, and let's say the Padres catch the Dodgers,
yeah.
which is not out of the realm of possibility, then it gets a lot closer.
I still think the NL MVP moving forward is the Otani Invitational,
Yeah,
and I will stand by that. So it's Shohei Otani's award until proven otherwise.
100%.
So Otani, I understand. The one that made an interesting surge I saw was Schwarber, and all of a
Yes.
sudden Kyle Schwarber is in the outside looking in of those conversations with 38 pumps, and he's I think tied with Raleigh for the major league lead in RBIs. Yeah, they both have 88. Schwarber has 38 homers. He's tied with Otani in the home run department, and Schwarber is also at a 957 OPS, same mark as Raleigh. The only other guy, and I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I'm saying he should get some serious mid ballot, down ballot votes. Kyle Stowers, people, open your eyes, dude. He's fifth in baseball in OPS.
Yeah, he's also 11th in WAR, and in the National League, he only trails Trey Turner, Corbin Carroll, Kyle Tucker, Fernando Tatis Jr., Shohei Otani, and Pete Armstrong. So he's what, sixth or seventh in WAR on top of it. The problem with the Marlins, of course, is the team, right? Are they going to be able to win the division? I think that's unlikely. Um, you never know. You never know with those fighting fish, but Carroll's not going to win it. Trey Turner's probably not going to win it,
No,
even though he's having a very solid year. Tatis is a good dark horse here.
no, he's not going to win it.
He is seventh in WAR in Major League Baseball. He's right behind Otani,
He's
third
not
in
going
the
to win it.
National League. What
He
if the
goes
Padres
he
win the
goes
division? He
cold for
gets
too
hot.
long.
All I'm saying is he's got 17 homers and 22 steals. If he goes 30-40, which is not impossible, gets hot in the second half and keeps playing great defense, and is around the same WAR totals as PCA when it's all said and done. Again, that's asking a lot.
It
That's
is.
asking for PCA to start to slide,
Yeah.
which is possible. We know
Yeah.
he goes through peaks and valleys. Talking about Tatis going cold, that chase rate can bite PCA in the ass.
Yeah.
That's the path. Padres win the division. Tatis gets red hot, and PCA slows down a little bit. Let's say Otani struggles on the mound. That's how Tatis would win it. But again, we're just coming up with interesting scenarios when in reality, it's Shohei's award to lose.
Yeah.
Moving on to what's up next. National League Cy Young Award. This market I don't really understand. I mean, I do understand it because Paul
I
Skeens
assume Skeens is just a runaway train.
he's becoming a runaway train, and I don't get it. I really don't. Because with Wheeler, like Wheeler's just been so unbelievable this year in the National League.
So, yes, but ultimate counterpoint. There's a huge difference between a 2.64 ERA and a 2.02 ERA.
I know, but then you also got Christopher Sanchez at a 2.4. And I'm worried that the Pirates are going to limit Skeens' innings moving forward. Like, do they
If they
really
have a
want
chance
him?
to see this guy win a Cy Young award and get a pick, they're going to let him go no holds barred.
Do they get a pick if he wins the Cy Young?
Yeah.
That's the reason they'll let him go then. Yeah, I mean, if they just keep letting Skeens go, the run prevention is off the charts. I mean,
Yeah, it's insane.
he could finish the season with an ERA under 2. And if he does that, he's going to win it. But and again, the odds are giving him about a 65% chance. Wheeler more of a 35% chance. All I'm saying is I think those odds should be closer, but I get what you're saying. If Skeens keeps pitching like this and they don't limit him, it's his award to lose.
Yep.
American League Cy Young. When I pull up the odds here on BetMGM, it's going to be Scooble at the top for good reason, right? He's around minus 500 to win this award with Garrett Crochet behind him at about plus 500. And then you have down ballot guys like DeGrom, Hunter Brown, Nathan Eovaldi, Framber Valdez, Max Fried. But really, this is a 2-horse race between Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet. You look at innings, Crochet's got an inning more. You look at strikeout rate, Skubal's about 2% higher. You look at ERA, 0.05 gap. Now, you look at some of the underlying metrics, they like Skubal more because he's walking 1.22 per nine versus Crochet at 2.42. Again, though, I think the odds are just too much. But with that said, I'll pick Skubal. But the odds are still too much. Like, I don't think that Skubal should be this automatic runaway favorite when the innings, the strikeout rate, and the ERA are so close, because I think those are the 3 most important things for judging, right?
Yeah.
We don't care about your underlying metrics when we're looking at a Cy Young Award winner. We're looking at ERA, strikeouts, and innings. So
Yeah.
if Crochet throws more innings and maybe leads the league in strikeouts because he's right there and have the same ERA, are you telling me it's not going to be razor thin? Which is exactly what it is right now, but the odds are saying no. Scooble's by a mile, like way more than Skeens Wheeler. And I think you could even make a better argument that Skeens should be a bigger favorite over Wheeler than Scooble should be over Crochet.
Correct.
But it's the complete opposite. The market loves Scooble way more than Crochet.
I think you have to take into account the big 3 in terms of voting criteria, and that is, to your point, innings, ERA, and strikeouts. And the fact of the matter is, Crochet is a lot closer to Skubal in all 3 of those than Wheeler is to Skeens. Although Wheeler is passing by Skeens in punchouts, he's also ahead of him, I want to say, by like 10 innings or so. But the ERA gap is just so drastic between Skeens and Wheeler. With Skubal and Crochet, like there's a world where they end up with identical ERAs by the end of August, and then all of a sudden we're just in a home stretch. Who has the better month of September? So I really do feel like this is going to be a bit more of a toss-up than you would expect right now.
I agree. I think it is a toss-up, but the market firmly disagrees. It's Scooble's to lose, and I do think it's going to end up being Scooble, like we said earlier, but don't count out my boy Crochet. Still
Sure.
darts.
Last one we got, right?
Yeah, last but certainly not least, National League Rookie of the Year. Drake Baldwin has taken a hold of this market, especially with Mizrowski going on the shelf. And coming in second is Isaac Collins, and I've been just banging the Isaac Collins drum all season long. This is one of the most underrated players in baseball. Look at WRC Plus. You'd expect Drake Baldwin, who's the more offensively gifted young player, to be well ahead. He's not. 128 WRC Plus for Baldwin, 126 for Isaac Collins. Right, Drake Baldwin does have the lead in home runs. He strikes out less, but Collins' ability to get on base at a 378 clip compared to Drake Baldwin at just 350, and the fact that Isaac Collins is playing great defense in the outfield as well, it's really turned into a 2-horse race here. Now, what I will say is, when we look at straight up bats, I mean, Augustine Ramirez is right up there. Liam Hicks is right up there. Shout out Fish Fam. Caleb Durbin has been good offensively. You know, Heriberto Hernandez, another rookie for the Marlins. The only reason why Hernandez won't be able to win is just because of games played. And the problem with Augustine Ramirez is he grades out as a negative defender, so voters are going to see that WAR total and just be like, we thought you had a great year, you're a great bat, but when other guys are hitting and playing the defense like Isaac Collins and Drake Baldwin do. It really is a two-horse race. And again, it's another market that I don't think is giving Isaac Collins the shine, especially if the Brewers win the division and the Braves just keep faltering. If Collins has a late surge and Baldwin stays as is, Collins is likely going to have the WRC plus lead and the WAR lead. And he's 7-1 right now on BetMGM. I think that line is off. Now, what I will say is, you look at the underlying data of both these two guys offensively, Drake Baldwin is the man. I mean, Drake Baldwin, if you look at his ex-WOBA, he's like one of the best offensive catchers in baseball, period. Right? So, again, it's tough. I'll go with Baldwin just because I think he still has a little bit left to unlock offensively, where Isaac Collins is overperforming some metrics. But again, if Collins, there's only 2 months left. So I'm saying overperforming. If he just stays hot, who are we to say he can't? That's why I think if I'm looking at some of my favorite bets from everything that we've talked about so far, Isaac Collins, NL Rookie of the Year, is near the top, 7-1.
Okay, I'm biased. I like Augustine a lot. Baldwin seems like an also strong pick, but when you lay out those two, again, it's just like it comes down to criteria. What are voters going to care about? And if the answer is WAR, and if the answer is team success, I understand how Collins can win it. But if they love homers, like that episode of The Simpsons with Mark McGuire, I will firmly plant my flag in the Augustine Ramirez camp. But that's our program. I got to run. Say
You got
see
to
ya.
run. So hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode of the Just Baseball Show. And if you did, the best way to support, rate and review Spotify and Apple Podcasts 5 stars. Of course, leave a written review as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the comment button, all of them. Comment what you agree or disagree. Give us your predictions in the comment section below. And if you want to join the Discord, the best baseball group chat in the world, we'll be talking about all of these predictions nonstop. Remember, it's just $10 to join, less than a price of a sandwich. Find that link in the episode description. And also get your tickets for the day at the ballpark at Lone Depot, Just Baseball Day. Again, that link is in the episode description. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple. We will see you on Thursday. And with that, thank you, everybody.